Libra, welcome back to Steampunk Psyche. If you are a returning subscriber, I love you so very much. If you are brand new to the channel or just cross-watching, I am JT. These cards, sometimes the major and minor arcana line up with us in our lives. Sometimes they don't, okay? So just use your best intuition with this general reading, okay? Do keep in mind that at Psyche, we always put haiku poems right before your reading starts, okay? Anyway, I'll give you the down low. We'll shuffle up and we'll talk about what wants to shake loose in this reading for you. Libra, I wish for you peace. I wish for you harmony. I wish for you all of the connections that you desire come together with understanding, clarity, confidence, patience. Everything in your path when it comes to money begins to unfold for you. I've already pre-shuffled these cards, but for transparency's sake, bam, there you go. Let's talk about your current energy, something quick coming in. We're going to talk about the crossing challenge. We're going to look at the foundation. We're going to look at the self. We're going to look at the possibilities, the near future. We're going to look at, I said self earlier, I meant foundation. We're going to look at the self. We're going to look at the environment, the hopes, fears, wishes, or worries. And we're going to look at the outcome and the direction. Libra, while I'm checking these cards out, here are your brand new poems. We'll talk about this reading when I get right back, okay? Okay, Libra, let's talk about this. Your very first card is the Eight of Wands, okay? And what this is telling me is definitely some fast action, some communication. Something major is about to shift, okay? I do believe we're talking about a relationship here, but anyway, if you're down for it, we're going to talk about it. All right. Like I said, the Eight of Wands energy here is all about this fast communication coming in, okay? This could be like that text, you know, an opportunity for some. It's invitations or decisions or something like that for others, but maybe there's something in here that you thought might have been stalled. Suddenly, you know, it's about to take off again, right? It's got that momentum with intention, definitely here. You know, masculine, texting you. Did I just say texting? Texting you out of nowhere, right? It could be like a flirtatious gesture or something, you know. Somebody watching your stories, you know, instantly, like when you post. This is all about quick. This is fast replies, spicy undertones, you know. It's got excuse me, for some of you, it's definitely communication. My throat just did this. Yeah. I love it when that happens. Somebody is wanting to say something really, really bad here, Libra. For some of you, this could look like a job offer or something like that. My goodness. All right. I apologize. I don't believe in coincidences here. Whoever this is for, you are really hogging up the time here. I'm just saying. Normally, when I get a scratchy throat right in the middle of a reading, I can take it only one way like that, okay? So I don't believe in coincidences. This means maybe today, maybe they're thinking about whatever they're about to say. I'm going to jump back into it, but I just had to let you know that. Anyway, yeah, this is that. For some of you, it could be like a sudden travel plan or something, or an invitation that's going to shift. Perhaps your whole month here. You know, this is that FaceTime call, you know, saying, I miss you kind of energy. Excuse me, there it is again. That's what that's going to be about. Somebody's about to call you and say, hey, I've been thinking about you. I miss you. I need you. It's coming up. You know, maybe a third party here trying to speed things up out of jealousy. So pay attention to that, right? That exterior side, the influences on this, you know, This could look for some, like for some of you, like a I don't know, like a karmic tie or somebody that you know were with, maybe like a, we need to talk text, or it could be that crush. We do got that page of cups, so I'm talking like a new crush here. Accidentally kind of like double taps one of your older photos or something, right? I mean, you're going to know this, but this is replying fast, okay? And then it's going to be probably that masculine energy pretending they didn't mean to do that, right? So it's all about impulsive, exciting, eager, and I feel like you're receptive. I feel like I don't know, I feel like there's some magnetism here, some kind of a intuitive hit, right? Okay, we're going to talk about this. It's like I feel like you're catching up maybe like with your own destiny in this situation, okay? But here we go. We got this challenge card, the Four of Swords, and I think this might be part of the reason why you pulled back just a little bit. For some of you, it's going to be kind of like ripping the Band-Aid off of something, but like I said, you know what I'm saying? Always take it with a grain of glitter, But your challenge here in this challenge card, this is all about rest. This is all about taking it easy. This is all about pulling back your energy to yourself, stepping away from the noise of things, I think you've been maybe running on emotional adrenaline the most of this time right now. Okay, so I feel like maybe you're just waiting for someone to give you that text back, the one that was draining you, or for some of you, it's that I don't know. It could be the opposite end of that the masculine maybe pulls back, um, maybe back to think. It triggered some old wounds or something. Could be talking about that push pull retreat. Some of you could resonate with like a kind of a high soul contract or just somebody you really dig, right? Somebody that's I don't know, somebody that's got you exhausted from carrying this emotional shit, about this relationship for sure. But for some of you, this could be like that, maybe healing from a breakup or something like that, a betrayal or something that maybe you didn't talk about a lot, maybe you're avoiding the conversation because you're afraid of the answer or something like that. But this should be sleeping more, right? Um, I don't know. Maybe for some of you, it's like overthinking some kind of a job decision or something. And my phone just went off, so I know you're about to hear this. I mean, that's like two non-coincidental synchronicities back to back. So, but yeah, this is all healing, from burnout or feeling, guilty here. Okay, so they go quiet not because they don't care, it's because they're overwhelmed, and it's kind of like you're avoiding the confrontation, maybe just to keep the peace. Okay, that's kind of what this is talking about. All right, so we are going to talk about this next card, the Foundation. We've got the 10 of Wands. All right, Libra, you've been carrying a lot. We know this emotionally, financially, perhaps for some of you, but it's all about the energy, right? It's the year I feel like you're going to put your burdens down, okay? You've been the strong one, maybe for too long, okay? You're doing the work. Um, for some of you, you've been doing the work at your workplace for longer than Ned B. I'm just saying, it's all one-sided here. It's got maybe you're supporting some family financially or emotionally or something. It's got you kind of overcommitted. Maybe for some of you got side hustles going on, things like that, projects. Too many people, too many promises, right? And I don't know, maybe you just kind of feel like I'm tired of being the damn fixer all the time, right? So you're kind of like, I don't know, maybe afraid to ask for help a little bit, carrying someone else's kind of emotional baggage here is what I'm kind of thinking, but I don't know, you're holding on connections maybe that drain you. Okay. So that's why that Four of Swords energy is in there, I'm sure. You're saying I'm fine when you're not, right? Um, I don't know. They rely on you because you fucking never say no. All right. Take that with a grain of glitter. I'm just saying. It's overworking, overgiving. You know what I'm saying? Some of you could be seeing synchronicities around horses. You could actually own horses, or you like to ride horses. You got a horse tattoo. You got a poster, whatever it is. But I don't know. When you get on a horse, right? It's powerful, But you're not meant to drag that guy around, right? That thing can do all the work on itself. So the horse is a definite synchronicity here in this situation, or at least the spirit animal. Some of you could resonate with the spirit animal of the horse, okay? All right, we're going to talk about the recent past here. We got this 10 of Pentacles energy. All right, I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off. I feel like you were focused on stability here. For some of you, this is all about family. It's all about long-term plans, legacy, or commitment that's kind of like maybe shaped the recent months. I'm just saying it's like, this could have been like the relationship that felt like it could be long term for some of you. Okay. And for others, this could have been like some kind of a financial blessing that came in, like a bonus, or your tax return hit at the right time, or maybe an inheritance, from a family or something like that. But this could also kind of resemble like a situation where you purchase some property, or maybe thinking about buying some land or something like that. Um, maybe there were some family issues that kind of resurfaced again. Okay, but I feel like this is like you saw some kind of a glimpse of the future that you wanted here. Okay, maybe some of you were having that conversation, about marriage, or coming together. It's got a masculine energy here. That's it says to me, it's like, I imagine a life with you. But maybe they didn't quite say that out loud. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe you felt the pressure to have it all together, right? And I don't know. Maybe that Four of Swords brought you back, saying, I realize I want more than just that surface level type connection here. Okay, so the it's got both masculine and feminine energy here. The masculine energy would look something like thinking long term here, but I don't know. They kind of may have acted a little short term, and the feminine energy is craving that some emotional stability, some security. Okay. All right, let's talk about the possibilities. We got this Page of Cups energy, Libra. This is a crush. Okay, someone younger, perhaps. It doesn't have to be, but I feel like this might be somebody younger here. Maybe they're a little more emotionally softer, and they're showing interest. Okay, this is like the flirty message that arrives, right? That feels kind of innocent. For some of you, this could just be like creative projects that are kind of like, I don't know, bringing about some kind of an emotional healing. It could be like a friend confessing their feelings or something. I don't know, but this energy with the Magician as well, we're going to talk about it, but I feel like there's a new admirer here that's watching you, maybe trying to manifest you. And so I don't know, pay attention. Somebody's about to compliment you about your eyes, about your smile, something. Okay, we could be talking about water signs as well. um Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces might be relevant to you, but this could also look like maybe an apology, maybe the one that you weren't quite expecting here. But I don't know, some kind of a romantic gesture or something that might surprise you. But this has got, I'm blushing, a little hesitant, a little overthinking going on here, but it's definitely I adore you. Okay, so you'll notice this. The masculine is going to be kind of like shy but sincere, and the feminine is definitely open-hearted, uh, and more than likely a little curious. I'm kind of picking that up here, but all right. Now we're going to talk about this near future. We got the Judgment here. Um, Look, I'm gonna phrase it gently because it matters. This is a major awakening. There's a truth coming. We saw that with that Eight of Wands, right? For some of you, this could be a calling. Something that's about to become very undeniable here. This is rise up, be your highest self, right? So it could be that person admitting your feelings after that long silence, right? And maybe this is all about you realizing who's meant for me and who's not, right? It's got everything from karmic cycle endings to getting that message that changes everything. But I feel like this is all about truth. You're seeing someone's really their true intentions here, and that masculine energy would be like asking for another chance, or you forgiving someone, or even yourself here. As far as the work related, it's got the career that's kind of like something's calling you towards this career that's impossible to ignore, right? It's rise up. So this is all about releasing the guilt. Maybe for some of you, you've carried that guilt around for years, right? The monkey on your back. But a spiritual awakening, it's I don't know. Maybe for some of you, this thing hits like at the most mundane type times, right? This is the confession, the revealing, or the coming clean. This is I'm not pretending. You know, this has got accountability and it's got clarity in it. Okay. All right, we're going to talk about the self here. We got the Magician, like I said. It's all about intentions here. It's intentional manifestation. Okay, it's powerful, right? It's precision. You're stepping into this authority type time here. Okay, this is attracting opportunities. It's got speaking something into existence here, and it happens, right? For some of you, you could be kind of like experiencing some kind of like a psychic experience. You might be, having them in your dreams and having just full blown 5D conversations going on at this time. It's like, this is more confidence, in your appearance, how you look, how you're projecting things, right? and how those things you project out there start to gain traction. You could really be seeing a lot of synchronicities at this time. Okay. I realize that my words, they really do have an impact. Okay. I ain't chasing nobody. And what I'm doing is I'm choosing, right? It's magnetic, to all the right people, right? So trusting your intuition more. We saw that already, feeling like you're way more in control here. I'm going to say a little less, but it means a hell of a lot more, right? It's so the masculine energy here would look like the action coming towards you, and the feminine is definitely in the attracting, the magnetism type energy. Okay. All right. We're going to take a look at the environment here. We've got this Six of Pentacles. This is reciprocity. This is give and take. People want to help you and invest in you, or at least give back to you in the way that you have. Okay. Someone's going to pay you back unexpectedly here. We were talking about, coins earlier. So maybe, maybe a job or an offer, maybe like you're going to get a raise or a bonus or something here about to take place. But this is, this is people want to help you, without you having to ask. Okay. We did see a little bit of that pullback, that maybe you might be afraid to ask for help here, but I feel like this is, you're going to receive these things and it's going to feel like a gift. It's going to feel like a surprise. Okay. Perhaps some of you with like side hustles or things like that, maybe they tip more than usual, right? This is all about like sharing resources, or opportunities. You get approved for something financial, that car loan, that house loan, that land, situation comes through, something like that. But it's also talking about like, the balance in relationships. We did see that Page of Cups, so keep that in mind. But I feel like, this is definitely showing the love, showing the actions, not just words anymore. Okay. So it has both kind of the masculine and feminine energy in this. It's like providing for the masculine, right? Somebody wants to provide for you. Somebody wants to show you what could be, and the feminine is all about receiving. The Magician. It's all about that. Okay. For some of you, this could be like finding some kind of a random receipt. A synchronicity. It's talking about, so you were looking for a receipt that you couldn't find. You thought you threw it in the trash. You went through all the trash, and then you went through your bag, your purse, whatever it was. You find that damn receipt whenever you stop looking for it. It's all about being compensated fairly here. And it's completely when you're focused on something else entirely, right? I know this has happened to a lot of us. Okay. Finding that earring, that back of that earring, whatever it is, right? Anyway, now let's talk about this: hopes, fears, wishes, and worries. We've got the Tower. Okay. I got you. We're going to unpack this. It's not about panic. This is about, fear of sudden change, loss, the emotional upheaval in this card. It's also about craving that breakthrough, right? For some of you, that could look like, losing stability in a situation. I don't want to be blindsided again. I want a fresh start, but, right, the cost behind it, perhaps some of you, this is that, we saw that Eight of Wands energy. This is that sudden truth that comes in that like just blows the crown chakra, right? Maybe a third party that's exposed. We did see a little bit of third party energy there. Just take what applies there. But I don't know, you have realized that maybe you've outgrown somebody here, that relationship or, that job or something that's ended abruptly. This is all about maybe, also about avoiding maybe some hard conversations. So it's got that, you're going to brace for the impact even when nothing's wrong, right? But I don't believe this foundation is tearing apart necessarily because of your, anything you're doing. I just feel like it's time to shed the foundation because something brand new is taking place. You know what I mean? All right, we're going to talk about the next card here. Anyway, I'm talking about this being, I think your body knows before your mind does on this situation. Okay. It's got the sudden chills in it, but it's what it's about is those chills are reminding you about this energetic truth, right? Okay. All right, now we're going to talk about this outcome. We got this Queen of Swords. Here's another little soft landing for you, Libra. This isn't like the warning that you think. It's clarity, and here's why. Okay, this is how you're turning up after that Tower falls, right? After that, and unapologetically, you know what I'm saying. This is, whoa, come on, camera, focus in. I guess I gotta keep my hands out. All right, sorry about that. Look, this is cutting off the one who drained you. This is all about choosing logic over maybe fantasy for some of you, right? But it's speaking your truth. I'm not accepting mixed signals anymore here. I'm going to walk away from the karmic ties. I'm hella selective about who gets to be in my energy now. Okay, this is beautiful. This is attraction. This is someone who, they respect your boundaries because they feel like you're the advisor. You ain't a follower here. You're seeing through manipulation instantly. Okay. And she does have the double-edged sword, just like the king, and she can be just as sharp. You know what I'm saying? So you're cutting people off. You're saying, hell no. And I don't feel guilty about this anymore. You know what I mean? And they respect you more when you do this. Some of us are a little lighthearted, a little soft. And the truth is we know what happens when we do that, right? People just walk the hell all over us. So in this energy, the masculine respects your boundaries, and the feminine is definitely in the empowered, kind of sovereign, right? You understand that. So anyway, it's about clarity about what matters to you, and I feel like your circle's definitely refining here. This is an amazing reading, Libra. It's like, you're not going to carry anymore what isn't yours, and I feel like you're moving with intention. That Eight of Wands, it showed that your life is about to speed up. So that could look like that text coming in, right? But I feel like that Four of Swords reminds you that, the rest and the clarity is very important at this time. Okay. That's your superpower. You've carried too much for way too long. That Ten of Wands, um, it shows the weight, but I feel like you're putting it down, and that Page of Cups energy is coming in here. It's got new sweetness in it, Libra. This has got new emotional openings, and it was backed by judgment, right? And that brings the truth, that brings the awakening, and all the decisions that are about to shift. This whole entire trajectory that's taking place here. So I really feel like this is an amazing read, Libra. I appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed it. Hey, give it a thumbs up, would you? Anyway, I love you. I respect you. I'm going to leave last week's video right here if you want to check that out. Anyway, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit that subscription button, right? Anyway, I love you. I respect you, Libra, and I hope I get to see you on the next readings, okay? All right. Bye-bye.